So moving ahead towards the next technical session that is on marketing, branding and financial management, millet processing. We have with us Dr. Vidyashankar Satyakumar sir. We are honored to have you sir with us for this particular session. Welcome you sir. The session is over to you.
Yeah, so thank you for inviting me, and also I'm very pleasure to be in the session. So I have a panel members with me: Nisha, Bharti, Manoj Kulkarni, and Satish Chandra. So just I will put my proceedings on that. So we will start with a little bit of a brainstorming on the branding, marketing, and the financial frameworks when we are looking into the growing the businesses. It is like growing a new businesses. So before that, actually, just to give a brief introduction to that from the morning sessions, like what the most of the things, like what we are going to give to the consumers, or the how to create a demand is something like where we have been not touching most of the time. So like what is the preparations, what we are looking at. So what is the product that is supposed to be consumed, that is not the way. So now actually what is consumer demands, that kind of products has to be pushed in. So because we are living in the world of VUCA, that is the world is all about the volatility, uncertainty, and also the competition, and all the forces are putting in. So looking into the food ecosystems part of it, when you are putting in, when the large businesses are handling through a certain kind of a habits, the changing habits becomes a very great way of going forward to grow the businesses. So the brands today, the relevance of the brands, if you look at it, the relevance of the brand is all about the trust. And also brand itself has got a certain kind of a messaging, the trust, what it is built within itself, and also like what is the goodness, like with the corporate social responsibilities will be one of the major drivers. And also we are promising for the ESG, that is actually it is on the planet as well as for the ecosystems what we live in. So this is uh, the uh, what we really looking into the so the corporate responsibility marrying with the brands along with growing this kind of a niche ecosystems is something like it is the base like where we can look into the principles of how to grow the new habits into the market, and then we can create the new demands.
So for the next technical talk, we have with us Dr. Nisha Bharti ma'am, HOD Agribusiness Management, Symbiosis Institute of International Business, Pune. We welcome you ma'am to this session on marketing strategies for millet-based products. The session is over to you ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'm actually thankful to Tiffin for inviting me on to talk on such an important topic. Actually, I strongly feel that this has been a neglected area since we get into this green revolution and all that. And this is a high time that we realize the importance of millet and start working on it. Now, one thing to begin with, since I was attending some of the sessions from morning, that I'm listening on various for the presentations from the morning. But one thing which we have realized even earlier, that there has been a lot of work on millet in terms of developing products, even developing varieties on millets and all. But one thing which has been the biggest pain point is the marketing. If you have developed a very good product but you have not been able to successfully market it, all efforts are not worth. So the thing is that this has been a very important point. Given the time constraint, we are running short of time, so I will try to bring some important aspect of marketing within that given time. I'll try not to exceed my time limit. Now, just to begin with, means all of us are aware that millets are a miracle grain because of their nutritional properties and all that. But actually, if I was just going through one of the report which has recently was released, and that shows that there has been 35% decrease in the cultivated area of millet from 1951 to 2020. But the good part is that the total production has increased from 15 million tons to 47.48 million tons in the recent year. So the good part is that the productivity has increased. That shows that we have worked a lot on developing varieties and all that. In terms of leading state, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh has been the leading states. Uh, Another thing that if you look at the world production pattern, India is the world leader in the production of millets. That is about 41% of total world production as per the data in 2020. But the most interesting thing which I could notice is that in terms of MSP, we are having MSP only for three major millets, that is jowar, bajra, and ragi. What about the other minor millets, which holds a great importance in terms of their nutritional values? Now, if I look at the world export, the recent data suggests that has increased, particularly for millet, from $380 million in 2019 to $402.7 million in dollar in 2020. Now, here I would like to bring another important aspect that in terms of export, 2018 we brought agriculture export policy. And the most striking feature of the agriculture export policy is that we want to reach a target of $100 billion by 2024. Now, the point here is that millets has a lot of potential in terms of increasing the export of millet as well as the total export target which we are keeping for ourselves. But one thing is that in millets, there has a lot of effort, but all these efforts are scattered. And there is a need for a holistic approach for promotion of millets. And I strongly feel that marketing strategies can play an important role in increasing awareness. And finally, the production and consumption of millets in India as well as outside India. In the inaugural session also, it has been talked about that there has been a study conducted, and the study reported that many of the people are not aware of the benefits of millets. Now, if I talk about the changing socio-economic scenario in India, economic growth, liberalization, increasing urbanization, disposable income has increased, purchasing power has increased, consumption pattern is changing. Post-COVID, the demand for healthy product has increased. And in today's context, we don't have time. So we need processed foods which are easily available, readily available, ready to eat, ready to consume. All those kind of products are in great need. In these contexts, increasing potential for millet and millet products in today's context. So in this, if I look at that, if everything is fine, where are the constraints? Why we are not able to promote millet? So if I list down some of the major constraints in millet promotion, I strongly feel that millets has been the victim of wrong positioning of crop as a poor man crop. We have always, post this green revolution, what we have done is that we have promoted wheat, rice, maize, largely maize also up to a lesser extent, largely wheat and rice. And we have shifted the whole consumption pattern based on wheat and rice. Not only consumption pattern, if you look at the cropping pattern of various states, what we realize is that largely it is based on rice and wheat. Rice, wheat, fallow, all those kind of cropping pattern you can see across states. So the one thing which we have done is that we have positioned this crop as poor man's crop. And that is the biggest mistake which I feel we have done. Because the biggest mistake in case of Tata Nanos was to position that particular car as a poor man's car. Here, people are nowadays people are becoming aspirational. If you look at the rural consumer, also are becoming aspirational. All kinds of products are going to rural areas, be it DTH connection, be it mobile, everything is getting so. So in that way, positioning of this crop as poor man's crop was a wrong strategy, I think. Now, taste and all are definitely not so good. Now, high cooking time, which we don't have, and the most crucial resource in today's time is the time which is not available with everyone. Now, lack of improved methods of production and technologies and post-harvest processing technologies, which has been a big constraint. Now, another constraint is that this has not been done on a commercial scale. We have not commercialized it, and we have been mostly doing it on a subsistence scale. Many of the organizations as FPOs and all are getting into this. This is a good sign, but still there is a lot of work to be done. In terms of millet promotion, as I said, that a holistic approach is needed. Now, what is this holistic approach all about? The first thing what we need is the improved efficiency of production. The data suggests that productivity has increased, but still there is a lot of potential because millets has been largely cultivated in dry land. Now, in dry land also, if we are doing it, there is a lot of potential to use improve package of practices and increase even the productivity further. Now, another thing which has been talked even in inaugural session was expansion of demand. Now, expansion of demand, when I say, I don't mean only domestic demand, I also mean the export part. Export internationally, we definitely, the demand for this product is existing. How do we cater to that need? That is what something which we need to talk about. And another thing which has been talked earlier also, that in terms of export, probably we need organic farming or those kind of organic millets. But millets are largely cultivated without chemicals and in dryland condition. If we work on the certification part, probably we'll be able to cater to that part and will be able to expand the basket of millet consumption. And marketing strategies definitely will play an important role. Efficiency of production, I am missing. I'm just skipping in this part because there has been a lot of talk on this. Uh, Expansion of demand. This we have talked about. As I said, that there has been two aspects, that is domestic market as well as export. Now, when we talk about domestic market or export, one of the constraint is that people don't know how to cook millets. And that is why I strongly feel that maybe some recipe booklet and all that will definitely help. Health service providers, if they recommend this product as a product which will help in improve your health, people will definitely consume it. And if people start consuming it, the whole problem which we are talking about is going to get sorted. Now, in terms of curriculum, what I feel is that recently there has been talk about that agriculture should be a mandatory course in the school level curriculum also. So in that, maybe millets and all can be included, which will sensitize the younger students towards this kind of crop, and it will be helpful. Now, in a nutshell, if I have to just concise all the marketing strategies for millets, I'll keep them into four domains. The first one, the four P's, which are the very, very important aspect of any product and any marketing strategy we talk about. The second thing is STP, that is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Are we segmenting the right market? Are we targeting the right market? And how do we position our product? Packaging and labeling, lot has been talked about, so I'll probably skip that part. And the distribution channel, because the experience have suggested that if you have a strong distribution network, you can succeed. But if you have not been able to do that, then definitely the chances of success goes down. Now, in that case, for rural areas, definitely you need different kind of strategies, because there you have to reach a vast area. But here I'm suggesting my approach would be to target first the upper segment. But as I said, that we have positioned this product wrongly. So maybe uh, what segment we should focus on? If the answer would be the upper class segment. Reason, the cost of product is high. And if the cost of product is high, it is not very much affordable by the lower class segment. Second reason, which I have been very much pushing into my classes also, that the lower class segment has become very aspirational and they look forward to see what is being consumed, what is being used in the upper class segment. So if we are able to reach to that particular segment, the lower segment will definitely, they copy the upper class segment in terms of using various products, and that is how the use of mobile and everything has been promoted. Now, that is why my take would be that first to target high income group until we achieve a economy of scale, and then to come to the lower income group people. And as such, if I talk about the positioning, it should be done as health food and for premium segment. Now, when I say that positioning of the product should be for premium segment, everything will fall in that line. Like packaging also should be giving the feel of a premium product. Then only we'll be able to sell these kind. Now, when I talk about the 4 Ps of millets, one very important aspect would be the product diversification through processing. Many people have talked about it, and many people have shown, like Tata Soulful was also there in my list to show you, but there has been already talk on that what kind of products they have developed. And if you look at their product range, you will feel that those products are such, those are ready to eat kind of product, and it has the potential to reach every household breakfast table. And if we are able to do that, probably we'll be able to achieve scale. Because one of the problem in millets is that unless we achieve the scale, we are not able to bring down the price. If price will not come down, the uses of that product will be limited. Now, in terms of place, this has been a big concern which I talked about even in a previous conference in Hyderabad. Gaikar Rao sir was there. One of the major constraint in millet is the availability of product, whether it is available everywhere. Now, at that time also, Savitri ma'am was there from Britannia, and coincidentally, today also my session chair is from Britannia. Now, I would like to just raise few issues here. The ragi biscuit of Britannia. That was a very good product. I have used it for long. But one thing which I faced always difficult is to get that. Because when you talk about this kind of product, these kind of products are not available anywhere, everywhere. For that, you have to go to big malls and all that. Now, there are health conscious people among urban people. These products are gaining significance in urban market. Urban upper class people are the target, should be targeted, that I have already talked about. Now, when you talk about these millet-based products, where can we get it? Largely, we get it in exhibition or in a very high-class grocery stores. But if I want it to be consumed in a ready-to-eat kind of form or those kind of thing, and I want it in a hurry, I'll not be able to get it in a local kirana store or something. Now, I was just reading some of the article and came across this kind of concept, which was also discussed in some of the session, like millet restaurant. Whether it is a good idea that I would feel that in terms of popularizing the recipes, it will be a good idea, but definitely for scale, it will not, because restaurant and all people go to eat all kinds of food, and probably health conscious people, I don't know how much they will visit this kind of restaurant. But yeah, this is another area where we can diversify this part. So this part is very important, that it should be available, and that is what we are lacking here, because millet products mostly I have seen that either it will be available in exhibitions or in a very high class grocery store, which is not in reach quickly if you want something. Now, pricing. Pricing is also going to play a very, very important role when we talk about the millet products. Now, here, technology for the processing is not very developed and is costly, which has been discussed in previous sessions as well. Talk about penetrating the market. When the prices are high, we'll not be able to penetrate the market. But one thing is that still I repeat myself that here we don't have to compromise on the positioning of the product. Positioning of the product here should be as a premium product for upper segment. Then only when we are able to saturate in that particular segment, then only we should move down. That as per me, I think that will be more helpful as compared to trying to reach to every kind of segment. Now, scale can be achieved by diversification of product. There has been a lot of talk on that, so I'm just skipping that part. Now, promotions, as we said, that exhibitions and all. But nowadays, this social media has become a very, very important promotional tool. Now, what happens is that these small entrepreneurs are not very fluent in using social media tool for their promotion. Now, here I suggest, being a head of department of agribusiness management here, student interns from management colleges can help you at a greater extent. If anyone needs any help on that, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help any of the entrepreneur on these lines, and telling upfront that these students can actually design very good campaigns for you, and it will help you in your market. Now, there has been a talk on the brands and all. Now, what should be the steps in brand positioning here? There are various steps people have talked about. First of all, that who is your competitor? With whom you are competing? Now, those competitors, what kind of value addition you are going to make as your product? Because when you walk across any exhibition or anything, you will feel that similar kind of products are available with several entrepreneurs. Then definitely in that case, we are not going to capture the market. Wherever we are working, we need to bring certain innovativeness, certain competitive advantage in your product should be there, and you need to know that which part, either on product or on price, or maybe you are doing your promotion differently, or you are trying to reach some areas where other products have not reached. But some innovativeness is definitely needed if you want to succeed in this kind of competitive market where there are so many competitors involved. Just to give you one example, like Dettol and Savlon. When Savlon was launched, Dettol was already established brand, but Savlon tried to differentiate their product by saying that it will not hurt when you use Savlon, and it will not have any smell. So that is what was the product differentiation here. So whenever you are working on product, please remember that product differentiation is very much needed, unless people will not accept, otherwise your product will never be accepted in the market to the extent where you become profitable, because there are so many people getting into this kind of thing now. A few years back this was not the case, but nowadays many entrepreneurs are getting into, and all are preparing all those floors and all that. Then you will not be able to capture that particular market. Somewhere some product differentiation is definitely needed. Now, brand mantra, whatever which is communicate, which is memorable, people should remember. And here I emotional branding as such, like prestige ad, जो बीवी से करे प्यार वो prestige से कैसे करेगा? They're touching your emotions. You can't leave that prestige product if you love your wife. Whether even if you don't, you have to buy prestige product to show your wife that you love your wife. So like that, there should be some brand mantra, some punchline which need to be used. So if I had to talk about the brand positioning for millets, what we can do, some brand name should be chosen in a way in which it communicates the idea, like NutriChoice or Eat Right was from IMR. So that way, it communicates the message that eat the right product and all that. Saffola has used the punchline like keep your heart young. Very clear communication that if you want to keep your health young, then you should use Saffola. Something like that, maybe eat good to feel good, something like that we need to bring to promote our millet products. In terms of advertisement, there are two types of advertisement, that is ATL and BTL. But in ATL, definitely TV ads are very costly and not affordable for the small entrepreneurs. But yes, as I said, that social media and all, definitely they can go for, and they can use some management students for as interns to promote their social media campaign. Now, BTL definitely one can go for, but I feel that rather than going for BTL, social media campaign will be more effective, because today's younger generation is more attached to social media and they spend so much of time on that, they don't spend even on any other thing. So that is something which we can catch and we can work on that. Participation in exhibition and fairs are important for the promotion of product, but it should not stay up to that only. It need to move beyond exhibition. And today's context, word of mouth and social media are very strong promotion tool, which we can definitely exploit. Uh, Trial packs, but yes, remember, as we are saying, premium products it should be used only at a place where these premium segment customers are visiting, like big malls and all. Bundling of product with some product and free samples will definitely help. Information brochure and all that need to be shared. E-retailing with Amazon, Flipkart has opened a bundle of opportunity which can be definitely captured. So packaging and labeling, I'm missing. I'm just skipping. Now, in terms of distribution channel, try to keep it short. Otherwise, the cost will increase. The cost is already high. Business model, again, there are two business model which I have suggested, but as time is lacking, so I'm just missing that part. Just to mention one part here, that this type of business model, I tried with in one of the project with one organization for NTFP product, and it worked so well that for with 1 crore of investment, they made 18 crore of profit in 1 year only. So that was a big achievement. Just to conclude, first of all, I feel that repositioning of millet as premium and health product should be done. Export of millet has a lot of potential, as we know that mostly we grow it in the organic condition, but proper certification will definitely open up the market, which will help these entrepreneurs. Demand expansion through various things which we have already talked about. If there are price volatility, maybe contract farming can help, because if contract farming is there, farmers will be assured of the market and they'll definitely go for higher production. Processing and all are definitely one important aspect. Proper marketing strategy should be there, cluster approach. I feel that advocacy for including MSP for micro millet should also be done. And in these regards, I feel that strong market research is very much needed. Trainings for these small entrepreneurs on marketing and financial aspect should definitely work on. If we give them the basics of marketing, that what they can do, what will be difficult for them to do, and all those kind of things will definitely help. And as I said, that there has been a lot of effort, but these are scattered. So maybe integrated effort involving government, non-government organization, private players, entrepreneurs, everyone will definitely help us achieve the target which we are here for today, millet promotion. All the best to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. For the next technical talk, we have with us Shri Manoj Kulkarni, sir, solopreneur, Mumbai. He'll be taking the next talk on building millet brands that matter. We welcome you, sir, to this webinar. The session is over to you, sir.
So let me first start applauding all of you in the audience for driving innovation and entrepreneurship agenda. What I have here are a few tips on how to be successful in this new normal, which is full of sudden shocks, social media tsunami, and super impressive growth of e-commerce. Let me start by a few context setting slides to tell you why this is the right time to dream big. There's a lot of potential for new products, and there is a lot of consumer pull for innovations. And here we have listed few aspects that are driving this innovation agenda. The very first thing is our country, which was known for having a strong family structure. 2 in 3 families are nuclear, which means I don't have to follow choices of either my parents or in-laws. Migration means I'm exposed to a completely new products, because the products that were available in my city are no more available where I'm today. Digitization is adding to this innovation adoption, because with innovation there used to be always a risk whether this product will be good or bad. But today there is so much information on the internet that you can understand that product even before it hits the shelf and then take a calculated risk. But what we found to be the most important one is the halo effect of technology. Every new model is considered as an upgrade. An upgrade means it is better than the earlier one. Yeah. And that is why whenever new product is coming, there is positive disposition towards it, that there must be something good. So let me try it out. So these were the external factor, and then there are consumer factors also that they want to be in sync with what is happening today. So this is the best time to launch innovations, and it's not just thoughts, but this is translating into action and number of things that we are doing on a daily basis which are completely new. And while this could be pre-COVID data, during COVID also we experimented a lot. So we are used to now taking those calculated risks, we are used to doing new things, and as a result we are very much open to what is coming our way. And we analyze almost 20,000 new products in the FMCG sector. And what we found is that foods product dominate that space. And within that space, impulse and your generic food products are the one which are contributing a lot. So, there is already a positive momentum for your offering. And this slide is for the title of the presentation, that why you should think about branding. Today the world is all about brands. And let me share you an interesting term. It's called happynomics. And this term was coined by a trend watching firm called trendwatching.com. And what they said is that today, not just people want to be happy, but they want to show that they are happy. Yeah. And listen to this very carefully. If I want to show this to other people that I'm happy, then I need tangible things to tell them that I'm happy. And that is why you see materialism going up. And that is where the brand plays an important role. Brand is peace of mind. Brand is something which is telling me that, okay, I have achieved this stature and hence I can afford things like that. So this is a very positive phenomena. And some of the examples are on the screen. Earlier we would have never told that what kind of switches we require. We would have left that happily to our electrician, but now we tell them nahi Havells ka switch chahiye. So we are being so particular about it. And this is what we see even when we go to Reliance store or Big Bazaar. They have their own offerings which is called as private label. And let me give you an interesting statistics here, that the private label contribution to these modern trade stores in India is higher than what is in China. And if you remember, China took modern trade journey almost 30 years before us. So we are moving into this, and that is why we keep saying that when people in Western economies, when people move to private label, it is actually downgradation. But in India, it is not downgradation, it is upgradation, because you are moving away from loose product to a branded product. That branded product could be from that retailer. So, these are the 3 slides I thought I tell you that, you are in the right space. Just wanted to motivate you. And let's get into, 5 things that you need to be cognizant when, you are building your brand. So the first one is, what we realize is that, while, this is the right time to look at innovations and stuff like that, we found that 3 in 4 concept don't succeed in the marketplace. So the failure rate is also pretty high. And based on the research that Nielsen had done, I thought of sharing with you that what works with healthy food and what works with impulse food. And things are slightly different there. With healthy food, you want to set the expectations cautiously because, people have high expectations. If you overpromise and underdeliver, you are going to fail miserably as far as healthy food is concerned. In impulse food, it is all about emotions. You just cannot talk about ingredient. You have to talk about the experience that food provides. And here, let me share with you a very interesting story. I'm not sure whether you people have heard about a dairy firm in Pune called Chitale. You can search on the net also. Long back, they started tagging their cows with RFID tags. And as a result, they understood their daily patterns, changed the food pattern, quantity, quality. And as a result of that, their milk yield is twice the national average. But that's not why people queue up in front of their stores. There is a very softer aspect related to it. It's very difficult to detect pregnancy in cows. Yeah, but because of this RFID data coming at almost at a second level, they were able to detect that pregnancy earlier than other firms, and then they were able to separate out those cows. Want them to be healthy and they want to deliver properly, and that's the softer aspect which actually appeal to the consumer, that when I go and buy things from them, it is not just a quality product, but this guy is actually taking care of these small things, and hence contributing to the society. So the question to you is, when you put your brand, what's the story that you want to tell your audience? Yeah. The second thing is, Nisha madam spoke about advertising, distribution, all those aspects. So here I'm not going to talk about, how advertising helps. Everyone knows advertising helps. But what is it that you need to do with the advertising? And here what we did is, this was the exercise that we conducted for Tata conglomerate, and where we analyzed 400 ads using neuroscience, because it is very difficult for people to give certain type of responses. So actually the sensors were connected, and then we measured the electrical signal, and then we analyzed what is their response. And what we found is that whenever there is a storytelling ad, 5 times neurons are fired more than a functional benefit ad. And this is what you will hear it from other researchers also, that when a story is communicated, many more neurons are fired than when I just shared the statistics with you. So there is an interesting term, one liner, which says stories spread, facts fade. So, what is coming out very clearly from this is that, if you are able to tell a story, the emotional connect will be high. You know that there are many ads, but if it's an emotional ad, then it will cut the clutter. And most importantly, your messages, people will believe on those messages. And as a result, if this is what we have learned, then what kind of story we should be telling? And based on those ads, what we realize is that if you are able to solve a consumer problem, if your story revolves around that, then that product can be integral part of the consumer lifestyle. See, people rarely buy brands. They actually summon brands to solve their problem. So the question to you is, when you come out with your offering, what is the problem that you are trying to solve? I think you should be communicating that very clearly. The next one is, again, Nisha madam mentioned the importance of packaging. And, here we have catchy titles that, this is actually the first moment of truth. When the product is on the shelf, and when people see it, for what they first look at it is a product. And there is no silver bullet. What I have given you is a broad framework and, few examples related to it, that when it is external facade, what is Ferrero Rocher doing, that there is that transparent box, there is that golden yellow hue there. Or when it is minimal that we are talking about, if you look at dark fantasy, it's a matte finish and very few lines there, words there, one color. Or if you look at the basmati rice packaging, they have given a transparent window through which you could see what is the quality of that rice. You could see the rice inside. So you can make a judgment that, what is it, what quality it is going to be. Or certain ingredients driving premiumization. So there are multiple ways in which you can come out with the powerful packaging. And let me tell you that this is the most underutilized aspect of the entire branding, that and I would urge you to focus on that as well. The next one is, Nisha madam rightly put it, that our millet products are going to be expensive, and they are going to be for affluent class. And this is one trend that I'm evangelizing for last 10 years in India, which is premiumization. And a lot of numbers are there. We took almost 2 months to come out with this one slide, but three things which are very common is that anywhere between 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 rupees are spent on buying premium product. Premium product are actually growing faster than the economy product. And the third thing is, when you start buying premium product, it has domino effect on others also. And let me give you an example. That, if you have a shower gel at your place, if you have a shower at your place, you will use shower gel. The moment you start using shower gel, your sensory expectations will be so high from a soap that you will end up buying a premium soap as well. And this is one area where, I want you people to focus on. Don't feel that, it is expensive. Expensive is not the right word. If you should be able to establish the price benefit equation. And there are multiple factors which are driving this premiumization. One is rising women workforce. We have seen that, now women are employed in almost all the sectors. And the moment they start earning money, they are financially independent. They see what's getting used in the office and they want to try out those things at home also. They want to give the best quality life to their loved ones. But the second one, which is very interesting one, is the trend that we observed is that it's the reality shows, which were contributing to this premiumization as well. And let me share a funny incident with you. When we were, analyzing that data, what we found is if you look at the TV reality shows, earlier it was knowledge based, like Kaun Banega Karodpati kind of stuff. That if you are intelligent, then only you will earn prize. Then people learn that if you can sing, you can earn money. If you dance, you can earn money. If you cook, you can earn money. Big Boss has told us that, if you bitch, you can probably earn much more money. And if at all you are thinking that, how much this is linked to this premiumization. So when we ask people, what they said is that today there is no linkage between what skill set you have and what amount of money you can earn. And if you can earn money, you can spend money as well. And if at all you are thinking that, how big is this? Or is Manoj talking about one-off incident? So let me give you an interesting stats. In 2010, not in 2021, not in 2015, in 2010, the number of people who voted through reality shows exceeds number of people who voted for BJP in 2009 general election. So, what I'm trying to say is that, there are these trends that are happening and there are examples of it. There are drivers of it. You should be pretty alert in understanding and then connecting the dots and then linking it to what you're offering. The next one is that, obviously you have a fantastic brand, but when you put it in the shelf, your brand is owned by retailers. Yeah, you have less control over the brand. So how do you ensure that, your brand is still relevant and is still communicated in the best way? So I just want to narrate an incident that, one of the client came to us and he said that he has potato chips and he want to have an in-store banner there. And he said, okay, the top picture on the left-hand side, top picture is what he had in mind, which is, in bowls there are potato chips kept. And then we said, okay, let's understand, the consumption process of potato chips. And then we will tell you whether this is the picture that you should have or you should change the picture. Yeah. And when we understood the consumption process, and again, we use neuroscience because it is very difficult for people to articulate. What we realized that, when you dip that chip in that sauce and just bring it closer to your mouth, that's where the brain activity peaks. It tells you a message, oh my God, I'm going to enjoy this chip. And that photo, if you keep it on that banner, it might have better appeal. And obviously, it was the first of its kind experience. So client said, I can't take risk. So what he did is in few stores, he went ahead with the earlier picture that he had, which is just a bowl and chips in it. And in other stores, he had the picture that came from that neuroscience study. And the results are on the slide in front of you. Actually, the one where we use the neuroscience related pictures, what we found is that the sales grew not just for the brand, but for the category also. And if at all you are thinking that, whether this 7% is good enough, see, if you are typically looking at double digit growth, if of that double digit growth, half the growth is coming from such a simple thing, why not save money on that expensive TV advertising and spend intelligently on these kind of things? Yeah. And the question to you would be that, what is the peak consumption movement for your product? And if you can have that, it's going to attract the consumer more. Otherwise, they have plenty of options and they could just walk away from the store without buying your product. Broadly, this is what I had. And it's not, the slide is not, has it? Okay. In this five aspects, what I tried telling you is that, while I was trying to tell you the concept also, but I shared the facts also, I shared the stories also. And you would have heard the catchline that data is the new oil, but I like to differ on that. I feel data is the new soil. It's a fertile medium where your growth opportunities are already seeded. You just need to mine that data efficiently and link what's happening elsewhere so that you can link it to your offering and come out with a successful product. You have a fantastic program, a day-long program. Pearls of wisdoms are coming to your way in a jet speed, and I'm confident that whatever you are learning today, your approach to any growth opportunity is going to change, hopefully, from being reactive. And here I play with the words, so watch carefully. Creative. Thank you for being a wonderful audience, and I wish you all the best for your journey.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. For the next technical talk, we have with us Sri Satish Chandra Chintamani, sir, Executive Director, Institute for Agricultural Technology and Finance Management, Bangalore. Welcome you, sir, to this webinar. The session is over to you, sir.
See, basically, whenever we talk of a business plan for anything, and even millets included, there are three important aspects everybody considers. The first one is commercial opportunity. The second one is technical feasibility. And then the third one, most important one, is the financial viability. This is your crucial part. But whenever we look at something in processing, take it for granted, anything, including an app, including a platform, there is always something that comes in, it gets processed, and then the final product is out and it is stored somewhere, and then it is pushed out. So this is the whole business operation when you take into account anything, let it be data processing, let it be that directs one person to another person. There is some churning happening, what we call as processing. Imagine a simple flow wherein you are getting something raw, you are preparing it, you are analyzing it, or you prepare it in a way that it becomes a better product, a finished product, and then it is taken by somebody who wants it. Now, there are three important things that emerge here. So whenever you talk of a business, there are three important characters. When in army, whenever somebody goes into armed forces, there are three important things that he remembers. Three N's they call it. One is Naam, Namak, or Nishan. Same way, whenever you get into business, there are three important aspects you should remember every time and all the time. That is, what product you are getting, is it having a utility, whether someone can use it to the best of the purposes, and can he get maximum for the money that he has paid. We call it as best of the uses and highest use and best use. They're very different. You need to understand that particular aspect separately. Now, next one is demand and supply. There should be demand, and you should have the capacity to supply. So what happens, or what is required in a business plan, is you have to first understand and analyze the demand. That calls for what we call as a minimum market survey. One should do a minimum market survey as to where the raw material is coming from, what quantity is coming from, what quantity is available, and where it is coming from. Can I get it in a time? What time it is coming in? Is research on one part. What kind of demand is there for that product outside? Whether people would like to take the product in the manner you have thought of, or people want that product in the way they want it. So there are very distinct things that you need to understand by way of a simple market research. It is very badly needed. Now let us take simple example of nano cars. Nano cars was launched with an intention of bringing a product into India sub 1 lakh. It was not done with a careful market survey. Whereas the same company, they did a market survey before launching Ace Truck. Now you can imagine a large company like Tata's going into two types of products and failing and passing. Passing remarkably, failing miserably. Now this is where a minimal market research is required whenever you think of a business. So demand and supply. Moment to assess demand, you should determine what capacity you can supply. You cannot commit more but supply less. So now I have seen many people saying that I will create a platform, I'll create a demo app, but there is no enough memory available, there is no enough storage available, there is no proper processing facilities available, and they commit a lot. So this is where you need to understand the capacity of your processing machinery, processing unit needs to match the demand, and the facility that you are creating needs to produce a product that is of use for the customer. And the third and last one is whatever you are doing, are you doing it legally? So these three parts are very crucial. Is it legal? When you say legal, in case of millets or in case of millet products or in case of food products, it is simply the quality, whether it causes damage to any individual by consumption. Is it reactive in terms of performance in one's body? So basically, it's about understanding the three N's that you do something legally. When you meet all these three things, then we get into the business process. So you are required to acquire raw material. That is the part of commercial opportunity or commercial operations. You need to see that you are acquiring raw material in a manner that is available for year-long processing or a seasonal processing. You need to understand that. Then processing technology management, whether the processing requires a very great technological involvement or a simple technology. Like when you do milling, cleaning, grading, and all that, it is a simple technology. But when you get into milling, to finer or mixing of two, three products, mixing of two, three millet products to make one multigrain bread, then you need proportions. So that proportions need to be discussed, calculated, tested, and then only you can do these proportions. Then disposal of finished product is also a commercial operation. Now, there are two important things to note here is the beginning is a commercial part, end is a commercial part, in between is the processing part or the technology part. That is where an entrepreneur comes into picture in terms of his technical ability. Last part is the financial part. Finance is like blood in your body. If you think of your body as a factory, you see the body structure is the factory shed. Different parts of the body are like machinery. So the lifeline inside the body is blood. So finance is like blood. It should reach every part of your machinery, every part of the body that is there as a machine. It works as a machine. So it needs to supply enough blood, enough oxygen, enough opportunity for it to perform to the maximum extent. So if I say raw material, in case of millets, what I have seen is I have seen in my own experience a unit established in Chamarajnagar. Um, so location is Chamarajnagar, little bit fairly dry land situation. So it grows millets. They tried to introduce most of the minor millets into that. Unfortunately, this year they were not able to produce much because of heavy rains. So How important is the growing region? Because it's close by, the FPO is able to manage very well, reduce transportation. And the growing season for most of the millets, since they're grown in, it will be a rainy season. So only once it is produced, and area planted needs to be monitored, because how much you are going to get, the quantity needs to be estimated. Then farmers have production skill, that also needs to be enhanced. We need to enhance the production skill. We need to enhance the availability of seeds and all that. Then estimating the quantity, promotion of crop to get desired volume and desired quantity, desired quality. Then estimating the procurement cost and logistic cost. Where do I store it? Where do I ensure we have the least spoilage, is the matter that you need to attend in respect of the raw material. When it comes to production technology, normally in case of what we have seen in millets is moisture content needs to be regulated. So drying is the first processing, destoning and cleaning, grading and packing, grinding, milling, mixing and packaging. Then you have processed products, a number of them: porridge mixes, muesli mixes, cookies, multigrain pastas, muffins, ragi flakes, ragi chakli, snacks and savories, millet semolina, malted ragi. You can name it. It has now become a kind of universal commodity. So you can mix it with something and reduce the quantity of the other commodity that we were normally consuming larger quantities. So we have a lot of products which can be manufactured. Now, whenever you think of a business, the quantity processed per hour, that is the capacity. The capacity of the machinery needs to be established. Based on the capacity, machinery cost will also. Now, electricity required is also a capacity determining factor. Nowadays, you get pedal operated husker for millet, but does that may not require electricity, but then that is at a limited quantity of processing. When you want to process large quantity, electricity required also determines the capacity of the factory. Training in human resources and required training in machinery operation. Seasonality limits the utilization of the machinery. So can we make it a multi-utilization or multitasking kind of machinery? Needs to be. Then we look at marketing or holding and prices. Quality testing, validation, and special qualities needs to be highlighted. The previous speaker was telling you need to build a story about it. Now, the oldest story I remember in case of brand building or in case of special qualities highlighting is in Mysore zone, Akki Hebbal ghee was very popular when I was school student there. So Mysore relation of me with Mysore is very special, and I remember Akhiapal area produced very unique ghee. So that is where the quality is being picked up. Nowadays, you find this very common in case of geese. In last week, someone was trying to sell me ghee breed based ghee. So now in Mandya, organic Mandya, you try to find Halikar based butter. So these are all happening. So you need to highlight which region you are getting the product from. That is the first level of branding. Region should be highlighted. If it's coming from Chamarajanagar, it has got a very different flavor because the manure used in Chamarajanagar comes from cows that go on wandering in shrubby forest. They consume most nutrient kind of a most nutritious uh, leaves, and then the cow dung and the manure produced has a very special quality, And that makes it a very special product from Chamarajanagar. It's the most sought after commodity from Chamarajanagar by tea estates and coffee estates. This is for information. So long-term sales arrangement can be long-term sales arrangement with the line offline trading people. Then most important is whenever you have a processed product, you need to check its shelf life. Now, recently, one lady wanted me to check the shelf life of safflower milk. She was producing safflower milk. She was unable to determine the shelf life of this product because normally safflower milk is consumed once it is produced. So we are working on that. Now, seasonal processing and seasonal sales or seasonal processing and year-long sales is a decision that you can take based on the motive, financial goal. What is the motive for you? Profit making and value building. Value building is for your enterprise. It is like a family value and an individual earning income. It is as simple as that. You may make profit, but you need to build value for it. How much profit is always a question many people ask me. It's a very simple technique I would like to share with you. It is called 35 or 36% profit making at EBITDA level. That is the level at which you need to target, because if you invest 100 rupees, you need to recover at least 10 rupees towards principal, 10 rupees towards what we call as opportunity lost or opportunity cost, then 15% we need to minimum have a what we call as profit for the organization or the effort, or it is also called as risk. So totally minimum 35% at EBITDA level you need to. That's all I would like at this moment, because 15 minutes time is too short to explain in detail. Ultimately, what I want all of you to do is earn money and lot of money, keep earning lot of money, keep earning tons of money. That is the goal of business. That's what you need to do. All other things become secondary. Earning money is the only goal the moment you come into business. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking us through the business processes, and it is really very insightful for us. I would like to first now invite the session chair of this particular technical session, Dr. Vidyashankar, sir.
So you can conclude this session, sir.
Yeah. It was a fantastic session by the panelist, Dr. Nisha, where she really concentrated on all the piece for what is required for the marketing part of it. And Manoj was a fabulous part of it, like where the branding was very important. And the new pivots, what he was bringing in the neuroscience, adapting the neuroscience over the traditional, the market testing was really credible part of it. So where even entrepreneurs can look into that to get the market scope part of it. And the third part of the Satish was really the marvelous, like what is the purpose of the business? It was very, very evident, like making profits and also the purposes. The brand building is about purposes and staying in business is about profits, and also making it really the way of life. And also he concluded with the make lots and tons of money. That is something astounding, and it will be always reverberatory to the young entrepreneurs and the new budding entrepreneurs. So put it into the nutshell, what I wanted to put it in. So just you bring in the spheres. So one is the technology sphere, like where all this from morning till now, actually all the session is all about the technology development, right from the value chains, how we want to build it. And also we have to put it on a premiumized way, like where it was coming from the Manoj, premiumization is the way of life. So you cannot call that as a suboptimal or the value product. It has to be premium product. So that is the one thing very coming out very clearly for this business opportunity, that is on the technology. So technology, the maturity is the problem there, then the scaling up is the problem there. So how the volumes has to be looked in. So the technology gap is very existing. That with the ecosystem where the Prime Minister's efforts on that, the scheme efforts, and also the one district, one product that is going to bridge that, so that only the branding part, as in India, if you are making for the export, that is technology readiness is the one of the prime importance. What I wanted to focus on. The second point is on the understanding the consumer habits and what are the opportunities part of it. And even during the panelists where they were talking about, so that is about the purpose of the branding, and finally about, so what is the functionality of the product. The functionality is about health, how much health it can derive, how much is the benefits you can put it. So you have to really look into the building in the nutritionist part of it, and also the dietitians, and also the medical fraternity into this. So that that is the platform where we can really get in, so that it will be right. The customer will be the god at the end of the day, and whatever the demand has to be created, the demand has to be created through the market. So that is the second lever where we have to pull it through. And the third one is the business. So even Sri Satish was mentioning, it is about 35% is the gross margins minimum. That is the focus where we have to put it. So make it happen. So farmers first, if you put it at, once you put the farmers first, what is the amount they will be getting to live it up to the expectation, so that the total GDP, when you are looking into this with the millet businesses, that has to able to drive on its own without any support. So initially that can be supported, finally how it can be independent with making the money. So these three levers, if you put it together, one is the business, consumer, and lot is the technology. This brings together the complete niche of the ecosystem to drive these businesses to the great levels. So that's where I park my thoughts on that. And finally, we can just look it for the very fantastic journey. So this millets is going to be the revolutionary part. And also we can introduce, or you can invite certain industry partners where there is a big branch or there. We can, a certain part of the cereals can be replaced with the millets kind of a thing, where to get going the margins, where it can really consumption can be up. So that is one of the ways where we can look at it if the technology is up there. So that's where I park. Thanks for the opportunity extended for me to speaking in this audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vidyashankar sir. Patiently waiting for a long time and really coordinated with the team and hold this session. I was waiting from morning to evening. God, thank you so much, Vidyashankar and Nisha ma'am and sir Sadish Chandra sir and Manoj Kulkarni. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.